All right, guys, we are back for some more fun with Kin puzzles. The one that we're going to solve now is just a little bit trickier than the first one we learned how to solve. So most of the rules are exactly the same. We still have cages on our game board, and we know that inside those cages we have to do some kind of mathematical operation to get the answer that is listed here. The thing that is a little bit trickier is that this time it's not just addition and subtraction that we're using, but now we're also using multiplication. And so for those of you who are not familiar with multiplication, I have a tip that I'm going to ask you to practice. Instead of looking at that and saying that it is times this number equals 6, I'm going to ask you to say groups of. So anytime that you see that X mathematical symbol, I want you to say groups of, okay? And it's gonna give you the same answer as if you said times, but it will help you remember exactly what multiplication means. So let's jump into this puzzle and take a look. I know that I'm going to be using the numbers 1, 2, and 3 because I have 1, 2, 3 boxes across and 1, 2, 3 boxes going down. So I'm going to continue to use the digits 1, 2, and 3. I like to start in these bigger boxes because it helps me narrow down numbers. So in this cage, I'm going to add 3 add-ins together to get a sum of 7. And so I'm going to start brainstorming using my mathematical thinking to think, how could I add the numbers 1, 2, and 3 together to get 7? So let's just try 1 plus 2 plus 3 and see what we get. Well, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6. So guess what? That tells me that I'm going to have to double up on at least one of those bigger numbers because that's not going to work to just put a 1, 2, and a 3 somewhere arranged in there. It does not give me a number that is big enough. I have to get 7, and that's only 6. So let's try 2 plus 2 plus 3. Well, 2 plus 2 gives me 4, plus 3 gives me 7. So that could be it. I could do that. So the cool thing about using an addend that is the same or an addend that's repeated twice is that I know that I can't put a 2 there and a 2 there because that would break the rules. And I can't put a 2 there and a 2 there because that would also break the rules. So if I use 2, 2, and 3, I would have to separate the 2's. So I'm going to try this. This is a strategy called guess and check. I'm just guessing. I know 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7, but I'm not sure if that's exactly the number sentence that should fill in here, but I'm going to guess it and I'm going to check it to see if it's right. So 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 3 would give me 7. So if I have a 2 here and a 3 here, I would need to put a 1 right here. And then I have to ask myself, what can I multiply? One group of how many would give me 6? Ooh, one group, if I had 6, in order to end up with 6 in a group, I would have to have one group. And guess what? I can't use the number 6. I can only use 1, 2, and 3. So that tells me, my logic tells me, and I can prove, that 2, 2, and 3 do not work here because if I put a 2 and a 3 here, it makes me put a 1 there, and I can't use 1 multiplied by 6, one group of 6, to equal 6. So that guy's out. It doesn't work. So how else could I get 7? I could take 1 plus 3 plus 3, and that would give me 7. So let's try that. I still have 2 of the same add-ins. So I know I'm going to have to split those because I can't put 2 3's here or 2 3's there in the same row or the same column. I'm actually going to get rid of this little guess that I made so that I don't get confused. And then I'm going to split up my 3's. So I'll put a 3 here, I'll put a 3 here, and that means that the 1 has to go here, okay? So if I have a 1 here and a 3 here, what has to go there? A 2. Okay, now I'm going to ask myself, if I have to end up with 6 total split into 2 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I want 2 groups that are the same. Here's one group, there's another group. How many are in each group? 3, 1, 2, 3. So this could be 3, and that's okay because 3 is an option. So if this is 3, 2, what would go here? 1. And then I've got 1 and 3, what would go here? A 2, and that works because I've got a 3 up here, so I'm not repeating. 3, 2, what will go there? 1, 1, 3, 1, and 3. I'm missing a 2. Okay, so now I have to check my cages to make sure that operation-wise, I have the numbers lining up and matching okay. So let's start with this cage. 2 groups of 3, 2 groups with 3 in each group gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's good. If I look at this cage, the bigger number minus the smaller number, 2 minus 1 gives me 1, and that's what it has, so that's good. This one is the same. 2 minus 1 gives me 1, so that works out. And in this L-shaped cage, I have 3 plus 1 gives me 4, plus 3 more gives me 7, which is what is there. So that's how I have checked my answer. I have used my logic, and I have proven that these numbers are in the right spot.